So, ladies and gentlemen, everyone, if you're new here, everyone in chat, we all do this together, all at the same time together. Ichi Nissan Da for AEW news. I used to play the Friends theme, but it kept getting me flags on YouTube, so I had to cut them. Mike Santana told Giga Chad Chris Van Vliet about why he didn't want to stay in AEW, which is awesome.
You could have stayed in AEW, is what you're saying.
I could have. Yeah. And I care, and I love this too much to just, like, I don't know, man. Like, I just couldn't. I couldn't sit on my ass. I could not do it. You know.
And him and Ortiz got in a physical confrontation over that. Ortiz was like, well, we can just chill, bro. And then now you look at Ortiz, he's retweeting people. We've covered it on the show, but just it's episodic. We chronicle things here, Jesus Christ. We chronicle things here. I'm also looking at this super sus painting of Callis again. It's what I said. They're going to rehash a painting again. This is exactly what he did with Kenny. Where's the new ideas here? Anyways, though. As we've covered on the show, Angel Ortiz has gotten in the best shape of his life, and he's retweeting people going, yeah, I want to be on TV too, type. So you should have listened to Santana. But again, I'm not trying to diminish him. It's just let this be a lesson for young wrestlers out there or other talent who are like, damn, should I bet on myself? I made some money here in AEW. Should I really re-sign just because it's money, you know? Save that money Tony gives you and then figure out a plan, you know, to where you can maybe make a little less, but capitalize on your momentum and your newfound riches.
That was honestly, like, that whole situation and that whole, you know, time period was a big contributor to my addiction issues too, because I was just so unhappy, right? And I didn't know how to communicate that very well because I was angry. And, you know, like they say, you can't react off of emotion. And that was the only way I was going to react. So me not knowing how to communicate that is what, like, made me, I guess, drown into myself. And,
so you were looking for an escape? Is that what it was?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So Eddie Kingston on Instagram shows that he's getting back in the ring and training for his return. And he's like, ring. And he's like, I do Muay Thai. These guys don't know. You guys don't know I do Muay Thai. And we have a comment from him talking about, you know, him preparing for his return. He had this to say. It's somewhere up here. Eddie Kingston says he tells Cesar Bononi, and shout him out, by the way, helping people get healthy and stuff on his YouTube channel. I'm watching AEW and I'm seeing all this great that these guys are doing in the ring. And then, like an emotional bitch, sometimes it happens. I tweet out, like, what am I going to do when I come back? Because I'm thinking to myself, how am I going to fight these dudes? People can say whatever they want about wrestling, but my mental health is, how am I going to fight these dudes when they're this good and I wasn't even that good to begin with? Bro, what's with all this self-doubt all the time? That's why, and there's a healthy level of self-doubt, but like, goddamn, man. Just makes you think like what all the guys said about him on the indies was true. He says, that's why that thing came out about me thinking about retirement. I don't want to retire. I don't. But during that 4 or 5 months of doing PT once in a while, because my insurance are not going to do it all for weeks, I just sat in my own thinking like, yeah, man, well, I had fun. I did the G1, but I wanted to do more off it. So I'm making excuses for why it's okay to quit. Yeah, Tony Khan gave this guy a bunch of money. This is the first like crazy injury he's dealt with at a high level. And he's just like, I'm packing it in. I'm done and shit. I'm not trying to be a hater, but Eddie Kingston, man, he cuts great promos. They booked him decently when Cody Rhodes was there. And then it just sort of, and then like him and Mox were kind of fun, but that's when it, like their vignettes and shit, their promos were fun when they were together, and their matches were fun and just like hardcore and stupid. But then that's where it just really flew off the rails. Like it was too much. And then Eddie just started falling off after that. Like, I'm sorry. NWA booked Eddie Kingston way better than AEW did. Just being honest. So moving along here, Brody King announced on Instagram a collaboration with Adidas and Brain Dead for limited boots and shoes. So that's awesome, dude. Come out to the Brain Slam wrestling event and make sure you RSVP and grab a pair. It's an extreme honor to work with two legendary brands. creating something so special. If you sign up for Brain Dead newsletter, you might be able to snag a pair. So yeah, man, he's teaming up with Adidas, and that's awesome. Good for him. I mean, it's a basic design. I think that's like Chavo Guerrero's boot design. Chavo Guerrero Sr.'s boot design, but hey, it is what it is, man. And good for him and good for Brodito. That's in a tag match tonight. Moving along here. Yeah, so Swerve blocked me. I don't know how that happened. I always put him over. Everyone I put over blocks me. In other merch news, King Ricochet dropped a bald cap. Get it? It's a bald cap. So it's just a hat that says bald. I mean, that's actually, if it wasn't just shitty, generic, like Microsoft Word basic font, I mean, that would actually be that could be a cool brand, bald. And they make headwear and like hair products and bald head care products and just things to do with your head. That would be a good fucking company right there. But just this generic fucking bald. Like, okay, who the fuck wears this? Where's this shit? Moving along here. So Dax FTR had a complete and utter meltdown goofball moment. Speaking of people who blocked me that I've always put over. And you know, there's some heat on Bobby Lashley we're going to talk about in a bit, and MVP, I guess. That goes one way, but the people stooging the sheets and shit, I mean, FTR, there could be heat on other sides of things from other people who aren't stooging the fucking sheets, who have heat with FTR because they're just like company ball kiss stooges now, okay? Or at least Dax is. That's an allegedly.
Allegedly.
I'm throwing it out there. So Dax gets mad at Jimmy Korderas because Jimmy Korderas makes fun of Tony Khan. And so Dax, think about how crazy this is. This is like sicko behavior right here. He unblocks Jimmy Korderas to write him a fucking 2-page essay and then blocks him again. And I just...
You fucking mark!
MJF said it best, right? Dax had this to say. Hey, Jimmy, I unblocked you just to let you know I have zero respect for you. Then why'd you unblock him to say this? Why would you punch down? So, like, do you have respect for random bot accounts? You respond to those too? What a goofy fucking thing to do. Hey, Jimmy, I just unblocked you to let you know I have zero respect for you. And then you go on to write a 2-page thing? Are you sure you're just not in your field?
Are you sure about that?
Imagine being as old as you are and your whole day. Imagine being as old as you are and unblocking a dude to write 2-page essay to him and then blocking him. Imagine being as old as you are and your whole day revolves around getting on Twitter to throw tantrums about a wrestling company you know nothing about. What doesn't he know about it? Observations about how shitty the referees are that we all make? My father-in-law is your age. Know what he likes to do? Hang out with his granddaughter. So how do you know Jimmy doesn't like to do that? Work around his house. How do you know Jimmy doesn't like to do that? He sits out in his yard and in his fucking house and makes ref and rant videos. Who gives a fuck? Visit us when he gets bored. He doesn't spend countless hours on Twitter begging for someone to interact with him because he has no friends or family in real life. Then why'd you block him? Why does that affect you? Why does what he say affect you so much where you're like, oh, I gotta block this. And I'm in my feels so badly that I need to. Tony Khan's like my family. How dare you disrespect my family? That's every promo he cuts. So why do you care then so much? Like, why does what Jimmy have to say? It's because you're lying right now, Dax. He's a respected referee, has been for years, decades in the business, and you're in your feels over what he had to say about Tony Khan. And so you're just punching down at Jimmy Korderas. I can understand why you dislike Tony. You worked for a man who embarrassed you on a weekly basis. Ooh. While you tried to hide in the back, hoping he didn't even notice you were there so you could keep collecting a check. So, like, how do you know Jimmy Korderas reffed some of the biggest matches, like, in that era? Why would you assume this? Like, did someone tell Dax a story? So you're making fun of the dweebly nerd kids who got bullied by a fucking boss, who got bullied by the big bad guy who thinks he runs shit. Like, you guys get what I'm saying? So you're making fun of him for being what? So you're pro-bully? So you're pro-bullying. Well, he's bullying Tony Khan. Tony Khan has billions of dollars. Billions and billions and billions of dollars. Well, he has feelings too. Okay, well, he shouldn't. over this fucking glorified indie wrestling fed. It's pro wrestling. Well, some people take it seriously. Well, maybe that's why Jimmy takes it seriously, right? I'm having a fake argument with Dax right now, but it's because there's no point you could bring. What the fuck are you doing? I bet you were shoved in lockers and people called you gay and gave you wedgies and swirlies. Haha, loser, fucking loser. Is that what you're doing? Interesting. I work for a man who cares about his talent. Really? So is that why Adam Cole got power bombed head first on an apron after already suffering vertigo and all this other shit from being concussed in the ring? Is that why Matt Hardy fell off a crane and they allowed him to continue wrestling? He cares about his talent. That's why Moxley got impaled with a spike bat in the back, because he cares about his fucking talent and he cares about their well-being. Really? Really? That's crazy. That's why people get in fights backstage and are slapping people, and they're not getting phone calls and paying for their own injuries and all this shit, because he cares about them so dearly. Holy man. And their families. Okay. Ask the Jacksonville Jaguars how the Cons treat their families. Maybe that's why you guys aren't allowed to run Daly's place and you're forced to go out to these other fucking do residencies in Chicago. I'd rather work for a man like that than what you consider success. Well, here's the thing, Dax. Jimmy Korderas doesn't work for that man anymore. He fucking he doesn't run shit in WWE. So what are you saying? This is like, okay, 6 years ago, this is a good assessment, I guess, maybe. But hey, I'm sure our priorities are way different. Your priority is talking shit on Twitter. My priority is blocking people, unblocking them to talk shit to them, and then blocking them again on Twitter. We're so different. I'm way better than you. Dustin Rhodes, again, a guy who blocked me, who I've never said one bad. But listen, I just went off there. Like, come on, am I not spitting, chat? Let me fucking know if I'm cooking. Like, I already know, but come on here. Like, and Dustin, again, I would never say anything unkind about the Rhodes family ever. It's fine. I get it. I cooked Tony Khan in AEW, so people are going to block me. I knew that comes with the territory, right? So, but he says knees are both destroyed. I have to go under the knife August 21. They can't actually fix the damage, so we are getting 2 knee replacements. Damn, keep stepping. By the way, this is not the end. Yeah, man. I hope he has a speedy recovery. He doesn't need to be wrestling. He doesn't need to get stabbed in his fucking knees with scissors. At least he gave whatever screwdrivers. At least he gave that to Kyle Fletcher, though. But it's just meaningless on Collision. Let's just be honest, dude. Or unless they're just looking at it. I mean, like Collision and Dynamite are going to start doing the same ratings in like a year or two's time. So maybe they just don't give a fuck. And it's like, yeah, just watch both shows. We'll just narrow it down to the sickos and then just lie about the streaming numbers or whatever. I don't know what the game plan is, but shout out Dustin Rhodes. And if that was his last match ever, I mean, okay, I mean, it would have been cool if because so many people have held the TNT title. What if he just retired the TNT title and he was just like, I retire to get, but I mean, he tried to pass something on to Fletcher. They could have waited for a pay-per-view, but his knees, that's why they did it when they did it on Collision, because he had to go get surgery. So prayers up for him. Hope he feels better soon and heals up soon and recovers quick. And you know, I'm not saying I want to see him back in the ring necessarily, but I'm also not like, God, that was a great send-off. You know, it'd be awesome if he had a moment like Truth God or something, even though people fucking got mad and now Truth's still on the roster doing nothing, right? Sometimes it's good to just let things go, guys. So we have more news here about AEW before we get to the Bobby Lashley stuff and ownership stuff. We have some viewership stuff. The Chargers-Lions game, speaking of viewership, on Thursday drew 6.9 million viewers simulcast on NBC and Peacock, NBC Digital. Peacock, NBC Digital viewership made up of 691K viewers, which is 10% of the total viewership. Only a fool would believe AEW does 300K to 500K on Max. Thanks. So, look, guys, NBC drew 6.9 million viewers for Chargers-Lions on Thursday, marking the best pro football Hall of Fame game since Cowboys-Steelers, when Fox drew 7.31 million viewers. The game on Thursday peaked at 7.8 million, okay? Peacock and NBC Digital made 10% of the viewership, guys. 691K of that figure, making NBC's best preseason streaming audience yet. We have BJ Bell Ethel and Dave Meltzer and dumbfucks telling you they study the fucking business, telling you that AEW on Max is doing 500,000. Think about that shit. Here we go again. Where's the numbers? We don't know the numbers. Yes, we can look at things like NBA and NFL and just compare it and go, there's no way they're touching that. It's got to just be way less than that. Like, just, being honest with your fucking self.
Dummy. Yeah.
But of course, Dave and his fucking...
poor people don't like AEW.
So yeah, just more evidence that I wanted to bring to AEW news that they are not doing the numbers that these people claim that they're doing. Here is MJF singing Radioactive in high school.
I'm waking up to ash and dust. I wipe my brow when I sweat my rust. I'm breathing in the chemicals. I'm shaking it, it's shipping up, and check it out on the prison bus. This is it, the apocalypse. I'm waking up. I feel it in my bones, enough to make my system blow. Welcome to the new age, to the new age. Welcome to the new age, to the new age.
Yeah, man, he's a very talented gentleman, and I think he's going to do good stuff in Hollywood as well, like already chalking up producer credits and stuff, like, and just bit parts in Sandler. Like, he's not just appearing in any bullshit, and it makes sense for him. And I just hope he has continued success. He's going to end up in WWE, and I'm kind of glad he's getting away from the Hurt Business stuff, and he's a light heavyweight champion in CMLL, whatever. He's trying to get his name out there internationally and stuff, or across North America. And I'm all game with that. And MJF, he'll figure it out as he gets older and gets more refined. And he's still young in this game. He'll figure it out by the time he gets to WWE. A lot of people think he'll be played out. I've even said it too, but I'm kind of coming back around on him. Like, I think he'll get it together. He'll shake all this shit. He'll come to WWE and he'll just be more Ric Flairish. He'll still be his own thing, but just more in like a Flair way. So here's the other thing about their numbers, though. Fight Oracle says the pay-per-view numbers seem difficult to believe. An insane percentage of the viewers are buying $50 pay-per-views in an era when even UFC pay-per-views are not selling well. Exactly. So I believe these are Meltzer's estimates, okay? So Revolution 2025, 135,000 buys roughly. This is fake, man. This has to be Meltzer's numbers. Now, again, I don't care if they do 135,000. I don't care if they do 200,000 buys. But if these are Meltzer's estimates, which I believe they are, because he's the only guy, he'll make some shit up. We covered it on the show. He added 30% out of nowhere because of Amazon. And Brian Alvarez was like, well, Dave, like, I don't even think people watch buy boxing pay-per-views on Amazon. Like, I don't think it should be about a 30% increase. And then he's like, everyone we polled about 30% on Max. Like, he just keeps adding 30%. We've covered this innumerable times. Or like 3 or 30. He's like Jim Carrey in that movie 23. He's just finding 3 and 30% and just adding it to shit. So we covered this. And he reported in the Observer, it's from sources that, there's the pay-per-view did about 130,000 buys or whatever. And on his show, he's like, Amazon should add 30%. And then he talked about how the pay-per-views previously did about 100,000 buys. And then he said Amazon should add about 30. And then the Observer, like a week later, is like, oh, they did 135,000 buys or whatever. We covered it on the show. Like, he and the source is him. So he added the 30%. This should almost be in Dave Meltzer's dumb moment here, to be honest. But just minus 30% from all these, and that's the true number, roughly, I would say. At least as far as like the end of 2024 through 2025. Hey, in 2023 and shit, maybe they were doing that much. And then it just seems fishy. All in did 200,000. Like, it's kind of like how he just adds a 0.5 just because like Osprey's in a match to his star ratings. I'll just add like a 50,000 because, well, of course, why wouldn't it be more? He doesn't really fucking know. That's the thing. So quite interesting to look at. And Fight Oracle's just like, bro, I don't believe this. And he studies the shit, like, it's not his job or anything, but he's got a good grasp on all of this TV deal. He's an investor, smart guy, that Fight Oracle. So speaking of smart guys, my pal Awful Wrestling says Mortis will do any TikTok video. She wants to stay on TV. That's love. So here's Mortis and Mercedes. Where are they, in a church? Are you mocking Gouda? Oh, my brother, testify. Devon, get the tables on his ass. He's mocking Gouda. Go with Christ, brah. Yeah, so there you go. There was no sound on that, by the way. So let's see here. We got a couple more things.